Hello friends, and welcome to this new video in which we will be talking about nothing other but HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is simply a technology that enables people create web pages and websites. It usually works hand in hand with other technologies like CSS and sometimes JavaScript in order to create beautiful looking web pages. HTML in particular is used for creating the web pages and adding the necessary content and information to it, like text, images, videos, and so on. So here we are going to be looking at the various type of things we can add to a web page using HTML and how it works in creating web pages. Okay guys, so in order to continue with this video, we will need a special type of application known as a code editor. So what is a code editor? A code editor is a program you can use to write and edit code. It's like a notebook for programmers where they can type their code, see it clearly, and get help with errors. Some examples include Notepad, Sublime Text, Atom, and Visual Studio Code, often called VS Code, which is the one I will be using for this tutorial. But if you have any other one I've listed, you can go with it. Okay, so now let's see how to install Visual Studio Code for those interested in using it. You simply need to open your browser, as I already have mine open here, and then I'm going to search code.visualstudio.com, which is the URL that is going to show us where to find the homepage of Visual Studio. So I will simply click on this first link here, and this is the Visual Studio Code website, and it automatically detects that my operating system on my computer I'm using is Windows. So it has given me the option to download for Windows, which I can simply click. If you had another operating system, you will find your own operating system written here, or you could simply go to this download tab here and you'll find all the various operating systems, but I will continue with this main download for Windows button. So I just need to click on it, and here we have our download which has started. We see it is downloading here, and if this download does not begin automatically, you can click on direct download link here. So I'm going to stop this download for now because I already have Visual Studio Code installed in my computer and I don't need to download this setup again. So I will cancel this download. But in case you didn't have Visual Studio installed yet, you will need to continue the download till the end. And once the download is complete, you can simply open your downloads folder. Like this is the downloads folder in my computer, and I will need to double click on this to run this software. Now we simply need to follow the instructions given to us here in order to complete the installation of this application or this program. I'm going to first accept the terms, then I'll press next. My options are displayed in French for now because my operating system is in French, but it's no problem, you will see the equivalence in English. Suivant is simply next, and then I'll choose create an icon option and click on next again, and then finally click on install to complete the installation. But I am not going to click on this because, as I said, I already have this installed. But if you do not yet have it installed, you need to click this install button to complete your installation. So I will simply cancel this because I already have Visual Studio Code. I repeat. Okay, and now we have seen how to download and install Visual Studio Code. So let's continue and get back to our video. To get started writing my HTML code, I will first create a brand new folder on my desktop in my computer. I will do that by right clicking on an empty space, then I choose new and then folder. I'm going to name this folder HTML Basics and then enter. Okay, so I have created my HTML Basics folder in which I will be writing all my HTML code. So let's get started by opening my VS Code in the first place. Okay, now we can see that I have my VS Code open, but there is nothing in it. So I'm going to click on the import folder option which is presented to me here in order to import the HTML Basics folder which I created for this video. So the folder was located in my desktop, which is where I will go to. So I simply have to scroll down and look for the folder which I created. Okay, here is it. I will click on it once and then click on the select folder option here. And now we see that our HTML basics folder is open in our VS Code editor. So we can start creating files within this folder and writing some HTML code within it. So I will first start by creating a first HTML file by clicking on the new file icon which is presented in my VS Code editor, and then I can give this file a name. I will name it index.html. The name you give to this file can be anything, provided it has the extension .html at the end. Also, we should avoid giving spaces within the file name. You can see my file name is index.html, but if I wanted it to be more than one word, instead of giving a space and then saying like yo, which may be my second word, this is not the best way to do this. I can attach these two words or link these two words with either a hyphen like index-yo.html, or I can give an underscore in the place. But for the sake of this video, my file name is just going to be index.html. So I will press enter to create the file, and here we have our HTML file created. Let's now talk about how an HTML web page is structured. So in every HTML document, the first thing we are expected to see is the doctype HTML tag, which is written as, you started by writing an angle bracket and then with an exclamation mark, then followed by doctype. You can see I'm already given the option in VS Code here to complete it. So the next thing we have to write after this is the HTML tag itself, which is written within a set of angle brackets. Within this angle brackets, I will write HTML. So this first line, doctype HTML, is a declaration. It's like raising your hand and saying, hello browser, this is a document written in the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5. This helps the browser display everything correctly. And now the second line which we have written, the HTML tag, is the root or the very top level container for everything on your web page. Think of this as the biggest box that holds every other box. Now this HTML tag, it needs to be closed, like this first thing we have written is the opening HTML tag and should be followed by a closing HTML tag. The closing tag is written in a similar way to the opening tag, but the difference is that after the first angle bracket, we will add a forward slash to indicate it is a closing tag. So this is the difference between an opening and a closing tag. By the way, a tag is simply any character or group of characters that are written within a pair of angle brackets. So, as you have been hearing me say already, angle brackets are simply when I write a less than sign followed by a greater than sign. This is what I mean by an angle bracket. And now a tag is anything that is written within a pair of angle brackets like this. For example, I can write a, this is a tag in HTML, and it can also be a word instead of just a letter like HTML, which we have already seen. So this is simply what we mean by HTML tags. Now inside the HTML tag, we have two main parts, the head and the body. The head is written like, and this also has its own closing tag. The head section is like the brain of your web page. It contains very important information about your page that you don't actually see on the screen. Some common things which we find within the head tag are other tags like the title tag, for example. In VS Code, when writing my tags, I don't have to necessarily start by writing my angle brackets like this. I can simply start writing the tag name, like title is the name of this tag I want to write, and then when I finish writing it, I click on enter, and you see that VS Code automatically puts this or format this as a tag with the opening and the closing tag. The title tag doesn't put a title on the page itself, but it just puts the title in the browser's tab. You know, when you are browsing with your web browser and each page you open usually has its own tab which you can close on your browser. So the name of this tab is going to be given by this title tag in HTML. So I'm going to give a title for this our website, which is going to be my first web page. Now we mentioned that the HTML tag has two main parts, the first of which is the head, and now the next part is the body. So I will write body as a tag by writing body as I said, and then enter. VS Code automatically helps us to format this as a tag with the opening and closing tag. The body section is the most important part. Everything you put inside the body tag is what people actually see and interact with on your website. All the text, images, buttons, videos, all of them go right in this part. Now, all of this which we have written is the basic structure of an HTML document. But in VS Code, there is actually an easier way of doing this without having to write all of this manually. So I will cancel all of this, and at the first line of my HTML document, I will simply write an exclamation mark and press enter. We see that all what we wrote before has been given automatically by our VS Code editor, and it has even given us more contents than we actually had. So we first of all see here in the HTML tag, we have something written as lang equals English. This simply tells our browser that the default language for this our web page is going to be English. Next, we have some other extra tags which have been provided in the head section. So these tags provided are what we call meta tags. Meta tags are simply tags which give the browser more information about your web page. For example, we see the first meta tag written here, which says meta charset equals UTF-8. This tag tells the browser to use a special set of characters so that it can display letters and symbols from all around the world correctly. So you don't really have to bother about this type of things a lot. This is not really what we are going to focus on in this video. We also see the next meta tag which says name equals viewport and other things. This is super important for making your website look good on phones and tablets. It tells the browser to set the width of the page to the width of the device's screen. So this is the basic structure of an HTML web page.